So we have some post-game drama that has surfaced today. Let's just jump into it and talk about what's happening. So this is the play in question. I paused it right here. So the play itself is, 3 seconds left. Worth noting, the Ravens are not in a victory formation. They are clearly showing as though they're going to run a play. So no one's surprised by the fact that they are not kneeing the ball. Why aren't they kneeing the ball when they're up 16 with 3 seconds left? They currently have rushed for over 100 yards in 42 straight games, which is only one away from the record. They clearly want that record, and so they're trying to make sure they get there, and being that they're only 4 yards away from having it in this game, they're deciding to run an extra play to try and get the record. As you see, Lamar Jackson takes it himself. They run. He's going to eventually slide down 5 yards down the field, so kind of a safer type running play. They end up picking up the, record, and they have another 100-yard rushing game. Vic Fangio, very upset about this, and not just in the moment, but the day after. So today, he comes out and says the following, and also, it's only going to be in one ear. Don't know why. That's not my fault. That's just the video that came was only in one ear.
Did you have a problem with the last play that Baltimore ran?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of bullshit, but I expected it from them. I've 37 years in pro ball. I've never seen anything like that. But it was to be expected, and we expected it.
Why did you expect it from them?
Because I just know how they operate. That's just their, mode of operation there. Player safety is secondary.
So yeah, kind of an insane thing to say at first, right? Like, wow, don't care about player safety. I know how they operate. He's firing shots directly at John Harbaugh and the Ravens coaching staff is the way I view that, because they're the ones who decided to run that play. And it's a little bit surprising, I think, and it kind of makes you wonder, well, who really cares that much? They run an extra play, wanted to get the yards. What's the big deal? It seems like this is part of a bigger thing. For one thing, though, I have to say, if you're upset about some dirty hits, complain about the dirty hits. What are you doing complaining about this then? If that's your real frustration, then say, hey, I think the Ravens are dirty. Most people would probably agree with you. Harbaugh fired back with this to say. He said he wasn't aware of a 16-point play, so he questioned what the Broncos throwing the ball into the end zone with 10 seconds left had to do with winning. This is basically, it's a completely fair argument, I think. Hey, if you guys are going to still be trying to win when the game is basically over, then we're allowed to still play the game when the game is basically over. It's fair. You don't have to knee down. You can if you want to. Most teams do. But if you want to run a play, you have every right to do so, just like the Broncos were essentially running up the score in their own regard. They were just trailing. It's not fair that the winning team has to try and run out the clock, but the losing team doesn't. Completely fair argument from Harbaugh. But I just don't think that's exactly what Vic Fangio is upset about. Because again, think about that last part of clearly they don't care about player safety. That's just how they operate. There were a couple of, clearly, we'll call them questionable hits. So we're going to talk about those now. The first of which was on Bridgewater, which to me was just a clear penalty that should have been called. Look, right here, Bridgewater makes the throw, gets hit right there with that helmet-to-helmet contact, which is definitely not great. Should have been a penalty. Bridgewater got concussed. He kind of hit that little chin area, which for any of you boxing fans out there, that's the main way you can get concussed is with a hit right there. So that's not great, and I feel like, is it a dirty play, or is it just he was going for a hit and hit him too high? You can be the judge, but clearly, does Vic Fangio have a right to be upset about that? Absolutely. Does he have a right to complain about something that has nothing to do with that? Not really. There was another hit that I think is more interesting. So this was the hit. So Bridgewater takes a check down, and there's a big hit right there. I'm going to rewind it, though, and show it again, because basically, the way that this play works is that if there's any contact to the head or neck area, it's a penalty. You see the hit. It's a very hard hit. Does it hit the head or neck? I don't know. That's kind of tough. It's hard to see with this angle, and this is the best angle we got. So maybe it was a penalty, maybe it wasn't. Gene Steratore, the former ref who was in the booth, said he thought it should have been a penalty. To me, this is definitely one that could have been called, one that could have not been called. doesn't necessarily strike me as dirty necessarily. Is it physical? Yeah, it's physical. Does Vic Fangio and do the Broncos have a right to be upset about it? Absolutely. So it seems like an accumulation of things. So yeah, as a whole, kind of just a crazy scenario, right? I understand Vic Fangio's point. I think he's handling it horribly. I don't think that that's how you handle it. I mean, if you're upset about the dirty hits, complain about the dirty hits. I would also say, it doesn't seem like this is something where like it's completely out of bounds from what we see in a football game. There are plays that should have been penalties that are dangerous. That happens in football. It sucks, but it does exist. But I think for Fangio, it's like, listen, it's a bad look complaining about someone trying to play football, right? I mean, you're allowed to play football. It's very reminiscent of those like old school baseball managers who get mad at someone stealing when you're up big late in the game. It's like you're allowed to play baseball. You're allowed to play football. But yeah, that's kind of my view on it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What is your thoughts on this very unique situation? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.